All right, what up, people? And welcome if it's your first time watching one of my little review videos. We're just gonna go through this question by question, so feel free to skip ahead to the ones that you might need. Maybe you don't need any on this first page, you just want to jump right ahead, or I don't know, maybe you need to pause in between. I do show extra work while I'm doing questions here for students who might like to see that extra work. And don't forget, you're always able to come in after school for extra help if you need it. Because, yeah, we're in person now. And yeah, let's get the show on the road. So each question, here we go. You can use a calculator while you're doing it. I won't be using a calculator mainly because I forgot to bring one home from school. And if I do end up needing to check my work, I'll be using Desmos or Wolfram Alpha. Won't really have access to those during the test, but we'll do what we can. All right, so the first couple of them are supposed to be kind of just basic little equation solving. So for instance, this one, we have 15 multiplied by n. To solve equations, we want to do inverse operations. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 15. Boom. And if we use a calculator for this one, hopefully we'll end up getting 20. And if you want to box your answer, feel free. After that, number 2, don't forget there is a little invisible plus sign in front of this 12. So how do we solve for x here? We just got to subtract 12 on both sides. And really, it's just a one-step question. We get 20 is equal to x. Hopefully those first two are easy enough. Now, number 3, this is one where I would recommend the quote-unquote switcheroo, because what I can do is I can take this negative a and move it to the right, and take this negative 1 and move it to the left, and it kind of solves the question in more or less one step. So I'll have negative 20, copy it, plus 1, we move that guy left. Took that negative a, moved it right, now it's a positive a, and we're done. Please note, if you decided to solve it the quote-unquote normal way, which may be being to add 20 to both sides, then you end up with negative a equals, by adding 20 on both sides, negative a is equal to 19. And then you would just have to remember that little tip and trick that says that if there's a negative a here, to make it positive, you just go ahead and change whatever that sign happens to be. So you get the same answer either way. Doesn't really matter which one you do. Number 4, this one, there are again 2 ways to do it. So this one I'm actually going to specifically copy before I start because I want to do this one twice for anyone who might need it. The first way is using that bomb the denom method that I recommend. Anytime you have a question that has a single fraction, you can just immediately get rid of fractions by multiplying by that denominator. So here I'm talking about multiplying by 3. So we're going to multiply every single term by 3. So times 3, times 3, times 3. Make sure you do every single term times 3. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. The whole point of multiplying these by 3 is that the denominator now goes away. You might have heard of as cross-canceling, but 3 divided by 3 is 1, so you just get a single little m out here. And negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And again, there's that invisible plus sign in front, so subtract 12 on both sides, and we'll end up at m equals negative 15. However, if you wanted to, you could have treated this question in the inverse operation in reverse PEMDAS order idea, where we see that we have this adding 4, where we can subtract 4 on both sides first. We start with addition and subtraction, so we subtract 4 on both sides, and we'll get m over 3 equal to negative 5. And now m is being divided by 3, so to undo division, we multiply both sides by 3. And then in the end, we get negative 15. Either way, so again, pick your favorite methods doing the question. It's just that this one remains useful for a lot of future questions, so I recommend learning it for anyone who might want it. Question number 5. So for question number 5 here, we're going to go ahead and solve again, just like that reverse PEMDAS order, inverse operations, add 3 to both sides. And 2 is being multiplied by the n, so we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 2. And we'll get 4 is equal to n. I do want to remind you, I am showing more work than normal. So just as a little side step here, in the event that you wanted to show less work on this problem, if you had just written, I'm going to copy it first. So You can kind of see the whole thing. Like if I was like not showing any work, I'd say, hey, I'm adding 3 to both sides, so I know 5 plus 3 is 8. And I know I'm dividing both sides by 2, so I know that n is equal to 4. Like if you kind of just did like that and didn't show as much work, that's totally cool as well. And you know, I'm actually going to zoom in. Probably is easier to see if I zoom in there. Probably should have zoomed in for the whole thing, but oh well. Life goes on. I hope my face wasn't blocking any of the earlier questions. Too late now. All right, here we go. 5b plus 7b is 12b, and that's going to be 24. So we added like terms there because we had two b's on the same side. And now, just like before, we're going to go ahead. We see 12 is multiplying by that b, so we're going to divide both sides by 12. That's going to give us 2 is equal to b. So number 7 here is one of the first questions that has quite a few more steps. So we see those parentheses. A good habit to get into is to try to multiply through. Please note, though, you don't always have to multiply through. I'm going to move my mic, so hopefully it doesn't make any sense. There we go. I think I was a little bit too close. Hopefully I wasn't like shouting anyone's ear. All right, so 4 going to the 7, 4 going to the 1. You don't need to draw the arrows, but we're multiplying. 4 times 7 is 28. Keep the v. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3v equals negative 244. We got to add like terms. We have a 28v and a 3v here is 31v. Plus 4 equals negative 244. We get rid of that 4. We're trying to get that v alone, trying to isolate that variable. Subtract 4 on both sides. Subtract 4 on both sides. We get 31v is equal to negative 248. And now divide both sides by 31. And we're going to get v is equal to negative 8. And again, don't be afraid to use a calculator. But if you wanted to kind of like think about like a tips and tricks about how, oh, Mr. Richards, how can you possibly divide by 31 in your head like that? Well, these are what are called contrived problems. So contrived problems are problems that are designed to work out neatly, or a lot of them work out neatly anyways. And we should know that 24 divided by 3 is 8 by itself. So that would mean 240 divided by 30 is also 8. So if we just added the 1 to the 8, that's 1 times 8. I don't know if you can kind of think that way, but the idea is I'm thinking about this as 240. Oops, can't even see what I'm writing. 240 plus 8, right? And then like this is being like divided by 30, and like this is like being, you know, and that's 8 there. So if I just added just one more 8 to it, then I could add one more there and be like 31. I don't know if you can think like that, but that's the point. That's how you could do it. Let's continue on. Stop listening to me ramble randomly about math problems, and let's do some more actual ones. So here we're gonna have to copy the left-hand side because we see those parentheses. Again, we're gonna have to distribute, but we copy that left-hand side. Negative 6 times m is negative 6m. Negative 6 times negative 3 is positive 18. Copy that 5. Continuing on here, we're going to go ahead and add those like terms. So a lot of these questions have a lot of copying. So this is what I'm saying is if you want to show less work, then you don't have to copy as much. But I am going to continue showing maximum work just so everyone can see every little individual step. Next, we're going to do my switcheroo. This is a great time to do the switcheroo. It's moving all the variables left, all of the constants to the right, the constants, those terms without the variable. So we're going to have a negative 3m is going to just chill. So that's on the left already. You want to talk about the left of the equal sign. So if you know you want to draw like a thing down the middle. Anyways, that negative 6m is going to move to the left. So it's going to become a positive 6m on the other side. And then that 23 copied, and then that 38 is moving to the right. There's an invisible plus sign in front, so it becomes a negative 38 on the right hand side. Negative 3m and positive 6m is a positive 3m. 23 minus 38 is negative 15, and divide both sides by 3. M equals negative 5. Okay, so we're done with the first page, and we're about 10 minutes in, so if you want to take a pause, be a good time to do so. I'm going to go ahead and take a drink of water. Let's keep on going. Oh, I didn't print this one right. That number 13 is kind of not on the page very well. All right. And I really hope that last one you could actually see the question in me, not just my face covering it. Just in case, there's the whole thing. Okay. Anyways, let's go on the right. Continuing on, looks like a double multiplication here. So we're gonna go ahead and do this -6. And actually, I'm noticing a trick right here before I start. So I'm gonna copy the problem so we can do the trick later. Okay. We're gonna distribute first. So -6a, -6 times -5 is +30 equals -6a. Multiplied by 7 there, -42. Again, we're doing that distributive property. Draw your arrows if it makes you happy. Doing that switcheroo action. So the -6a is copied. That -6a moved to the left is +6a. And then that -42 is copied, and that 30 moves to the right, becomes a -30. -6a and +6a is 0. Some students have been putting 0a. I'm going to remind you that 0 times a is still 0. -42 minus 30 is -72, so this is also copied down there. Does 0 equal -72? Of course 0 does not equal -72, which means we have our very first no solution problem. If you want to be a little fancier, you can write it like that, or you can... I don't know if I can draw correctly. You could do this fancy little guy there. All of those would be acceptable. I like writing NS. I think it's the most clear that it's no solution. But the point that I was trying to make is that there's this cute little trick you can do here. So if you notice, -6 is being multiplied there, and -6 is being multiplied there. And if you notice that, you could divide both sides by -6 to start the question because it's multiplication. And if you get that, you just get a minus 5 equals a plus 7. And then furthermore, in the trick, you should know that no matter what number it is, if you're subtracting 5 from it, it's going to be different than adding 7 to it. So again, you can just jump right to the no solution right away, or, I don't know, subtract a on both sides, you get 0 equals 12. Lots of different possibilities there. Let's continue. So here, lots of distributive again. So 7 distributes to the 3, 21x. 7 to the 5, -35, minus the 5x. Equals 3 distributes 3x minus the 9. We're going to go ahead and add like terms. You have a 21x and a -5x. That's going to become a 16x minus 35. Time for the switcheroo. 16x copied, 3x to the left. -9. Add the 35. 35 moved over. I probably did this question too fast, and I apologize, but it's kind of too late now. -9, 35 is 26 divided by 13. X is equal to 2. Beautiful. Woo. Let's keep it running. Keep it running for sure. We're sliding the paper on up. Oh, and if you're totally confused about a question, one thing you can be doing is that you're doing this packet first, watching a video, whatever it is at home. Maybe after you've listened to my explanation, maybe I did the problem too fast like that last one, or you still didn't understand what I was doing, or maybe you did it a different way but got to the wrong answer and you want to figure out why. You can always just circle it and then remind yourself to ask during class, ask after school, whatever the case may be. Yeah. Let's keep on moving. So here, -10 equals, we're going to distribute -2k plus 1 plus 2k. 2 minus 6 is -12. Continuing on, we got -10 equals -2k, and +2k is 0, just like before. And 1, oops, this should have been a +2. If anyone caught that, I apologize. -2 times -1 is +2. Anyways, 2 and -12 is -10, and then -10 equals -10, which is a true statement. So previously in this problem, we had 0 equals -72, a false statement. Here we have -10 equals -10, which is a true statement. And because you ended up at that spot, you had a true statement, 0 equals 0, -10 equals 10, something. The answer is all real numbers. But actually, I don't like writing ARN this time. I like writing it with R, kind of like a fancy way. Or again, -infinity to infinity. You want to be ultimate fancy. All right, let's continue on. Number 12. So number 12 is our first full bomb the denom question. We need to figure out that lowest common denominator, or least common denominator, or least common multiple of the denominator. A lot of different words to mean the same thing. So that's when you want to use that calculator effectively, or you could kind of just notice what it is. And in this case, I actually think it actually is kind of easy for a lot of people to notice that 4 is the least common, because 2 goes into 4, and those are the only two numbers to possibly multiply by. But this question definitely is one that you want to do at school with a calculator, so that you're more comfortable multiplying by all of them out, because you're going to be multiplying every single one of these by 4. So you're going to do like times 4, times 4, times 4, times 4, times 4, multiplying every single term by 4. You can use that alpha y equals enter button on the calculator to multiply the fractions by 4 if you're not comfortable. However, none of these are too bad on their multiplying, because a negative a half times 4 is like half of 4. So that's going to be negative 2n. 4 and 4's cancel here. So it's going to be 17. 2 times 4 is 8. Half times 4 we just talked about. That's 2n. 27 over 4. The 4's cancel. Let's add some like terms now. n to the left, 25 to the right. So that's a negative 2n now, and that is a negative 25 now. Get negative 4n equals 2. Divide both sides by negative 4, and we'll get n is equal to negative a half, or negative 0.5 if you're a fan of the decimals. I do not care which you answer in. You have full credit either way. I recommend actually knowing how to do both, because when you come up to those SATs, ACTs, they're allowed to answer in either way. So yeah. So number 13 here, looks like I screwed up not giving you enough room, so I'm gonna kind of do it right here. A little bit weird to do it that way, but only one denominator again, just the 3. So we're gonna multiply everything by 3. We multiply everything by 3 again. I'm writing it right here first. So negative 11 over 3, like the 3's cancel here, so we're gonna get negative 11 minus 2 times 3 is 6a. 2a times 3 after the equal sign, you get 6a, and then 7 over 3, 3's cancel, so you get plus 7. Again with that switcheroo, negative 6a minus 6a equals, and then we got 7, negative 11 added to the other side, plus 11. Negative 6 minus 6, negative 12a equals 18. Divide both sides by negative 12. We're going to get a is equal to, and use that calculator again, negative 3 over 2, or negative 1.5. Now, maybe you're saying, hey, without a calculator, how did you reduce that? It's actually not that bad. Just notice that 18 and 12 both go into 6, or 6 goes into both of them, sorry. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, 12 divided by 6 is 2. You can do this as well. All right, continue it up. We're on number 14. All right, so it says draw a graph for each inequality. So this one is just really just testing. Do you know what my rules are for the graph? So just to remind you what those rules are. For my graphs, is I want the key number, a number on both sides, and I want my arrows, lines and arrows drawn. So let's do it. So we have, here's my number line. Here's our key number, a number on the right of it and on the left of it. So be careful there, because a lot of students get a little bit messed up with their negative numbers. Be careful. We have a filled in circle. And again, the filled in circle, that happens when you have the equal to sign. So if it just said like n greater than negative 6, that would have been an open circle instead. But it's a filled in circle. And because n's on the left, we can kind of quote unquote complete the arrow. It's pointing to the right. It is a greater than. Boom. Happy times. This one, write an inequality for each graph. This one I'm just testing to see if you see a graph instead, could you write it? It's a little bit harder to see, but there's like not a line filled in there, and it is bolded on top of here. So you can see the computer actually does it not how I do it, where I put it above. I really think the above part is better, but I don't know. Computer's not following my rules here. But we are on the 4, so it's going to be x greater than or equal to 4. And again, it's that underline thing because it's a filled in dot. The open dot would not have that underline. Boom. Whew, one more page done. More drink of water. Let's continue on. Solve each inequality and graph its solution. So a lot of these questions are just like the first page, where we're solving the problems and then, going from there. So it basically solving the problems as if this was an equal to sign is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. So you're solving it as if it was an equal sign, and then we graph it afterwards. So honestly, I didn't really give you enough room on these ones either, and I apologize. I'll be more careful printing these off in the future. Really don't know why I wasn't more careful. I thought I was. This is what happens beginning of the year, going back into teaching and printing stuff off. I'm not thinking as much. All right, here we go. So we're being divided by 14, so we're going to multiply both sides by that 14. Multiply both sides by 14. So how could you do this one in your head if you really wanted to? Okay, so 15 times 10. I'm just going to try to show you how you could do this in your head, right? So you have 15 times 10 is 150. I think everyone can kind of do that one in their head. And then 15 times 4... Well, 15 times 4 is like 15 minutes 4 times in an hour, so you get 60 there. And therefore, these two guys multiplied together is going to be 210. Those R's cancel. So if you can think that way, you can do it. Another way you could think about it is if you happen to know 15 squared is 225. 15 times 14 would be 15 minus that. So 225 minus the 15, 210. There's another way of doing it. Or just use a calculator, right? That's probably the easiest way. Right now, alligator's eating the R. Alligator continues to eat the R. Whenever you use that symmetric property of inequality, in this case, flip the direction of the sign. So it's actually not symmetric, I suppose, right? It doesn't carry over, but it's not quite the same. If you're trying to use the symmetric property, you have to switch the sign because it's not symmetric. Whatever. R is greater than 210, so make that number line up. Put that negative 210 down, number on the right of it, and number on the left of it. So it doesn't matter what number on the left, so just to be obnoxious, well, 0's on the right of it, right? And negative 420, that's the same distance. And open circle and greater than points to the right. Let's continue on. Number 17, we see a single fraction, and we want to get rid of those fractions if possible right away. So I'm going to multiply that by that fraction, multiply by 12. Multiply every single guy by 12. 5 times 12 is 60. Greater than or equal to 4 times 12 is 48. 12's cancel. Plus k. Don't forget the little invisible plus sign in front of that 48. So we're going to subtract 48 on both sides. It's going to give us 12. Greater than or equal to k. And again, using that symmetric property, we're going to rewrite this as k is less than or equal to 12. Alligator was eating the 12. It's still eating the 12. And drop our number line. We have 12 there. Above 12 is 13. Below 12 is 11. Filled in circle. And this time it's less than, pointing off to the left. Oops, you couldn't even see the rest of my line. It was off the screen. Boom, boom, boom. All right, number 18. So number 18, I'm going to show the shorter way of doing the question. If you distributed first and then added 36 to both sides, that's completely acceptable. However, your life will be slightly easier if you use that trick that I noticed. Because your whole side is being multiplied by -9, I can divide both sides by -9 at the start of the question to make the problem easier. 4 plus x is greater than... greater than -4. Notice that sign flipped direction. That was our first time that we multiplied or divided by a negative. Anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, gotta flip the sign. -4 on both sides, subtract them up. Cancels. X is greater than -8. Make that number line. -8, -7, -9, open circle, points to the right. Boom. We fly in now. Apparently, I gave you a number line on this question. There's an option in the program to give number lines, and I typically don't. And then I guess I really just was not careful on this one. I have no excuses. I have no excuses other than I went too fast. Believe it or not. All right, negative distributes. -n plus 4. Plus 4n greater than or equal to 8 distributes. 8n minus 16. So you might ask, hey, Mr. Richards, why didn't you like try to divide both sides by 8? That whole side was being multiplied by 8. Well, if I try to divide by 8, then this gets divided by 8, like everything does, and that 4 divided by 8 is a half, and then I have half n, and then I got problems, and I got issues. So over here it was really easy, because negative 36 and 9 went into each other, but here it wouldn't work out, so we can't really do that. Anyways, we distributed the 8. Negative n and positive 4n is 3n plus 4 greater than or equal to. Copy. Do the switcheroo. 3n minus 8n greater than or equal to negative 16 minus 4. So again, 8 to the left became negative, 4 to the right became negative. 3 minus 8 is negative 5n greater than or equal to negative 20. Divide both sides by negative 5. We divide it by a negative, so we flip the sign. N is greater than or equal to 4. Whew! What a question. Make that number line up. 4 in the middle. 5, 3, filled in circle this time. Points off to the right. Here we go. Do it. Number 20. Number 20. All right. So yet again, got to distribute. So distributing that negative 7 out, so we're going to get negative 7n plus 28 minus 6n greater than negative 8n plus 48. So again, we're just using those little arrows if you want to distribute it out. Negative 7 minus 6 is negative 13n plus 28 greater than negative 8n plus 48. Do that switcheroo. Negative 13n plus 8n greater than 48 minus 28. Negative 13 and 8 is negative 5n greater than 20. Running out of room, but so that means I'm just going to copy. Divide both sides by a negative 5. Again, we divided by a negative. Because we divided by a negative, this direction flips. And greater than, or less than, negative 4. Negative 4, negative 3, negative 5. Open circle. Points to the left. Here we go. Solve each compound inequality and graph its solution. So I think all but one of my classes has not seen this topic yet. So definitely something, if you haven't seen it, you don't really need to worry about it just yet. But if you have seen it, awesome. And you can just do these questions. But basically, it's just the same exact stuff, and you just kind of repeat, right? You just repeat it twice and put them both in the same line. In the general, the word and is going to be coming together, and the word or is going to be going apart. Yeah, let's just do it. I don't think anything else to say right now. So we're gonna add 8 to both sides here, showing maximum work. B less than or equal to 2, and then the word and is gonna be copied. Multiply both sides by 4 here. So B is greater than negative 4. So now when you do the number line, you have two key ideas, negative 4 and then 2, maybe a number in between like 0. You have an open circle above the negative 4, a filled in circle above the 2, and then the word and is going to mean come together. You could have also verified it by saying B is less than 2, greater than 4, just boom right there. Okay. Number 22. Now the word or means they're going to go apart, right? Let's see it. So we're going to add 7n to both sides, or 7, sorry, not 7n. Add 7 to both sides. Negative 5n greater than 45. Divide both sides by negative 5. Don't forget to flip the sign. So easy to forget. And then the word or, again, copied all the way down. Subtract 10 on both sides now. 6n greater than negative 18. Divide both sides by 6. We do not flip the sign because we did not divide by a negative. We divided by a positive. So n is less than negative 9, or it's greater than negative 3. Boom, boom, boom. So we have negative 9 here, negative 3 there. In between those two might be negative 6. So open circle above both. Greater than negative 3 again. Usually the word or points apart, and they do here. Boom, boom, boom. Finishing it up, negative 8 less than or equal to k minus 2 less than 4. So we're going to learn in class this really just means a fancy version of and. So the easiest way, if you don't have k's on the outsides, then we can just add 2 here, and we're adding 2 to all 3 sections. So it's -6 less than or equal to k less than +6. And this is actually the easiest of all, this kind of question, because you have to just have that one step really. So maybe 2 steps if you have to end up dividing. So you have -6 filled in, +6 open, 0 in between, they come together. 24. All right, so this one's actually a lot longer. Again, it's an and, but oh, it's not a lot longer. We can pull some shenanigans. Let me look at the rest of the pack really quick. Did I put any other ones on here? No, I didn't. I'm gonna show the trick to this one just in case we needed it. You actually just divide it into 2 questions. You don't have to do this, but this is just so you can kind of see way of doing it. And you write the word and. So if you notice, I copied these 2 together, and then I wrote 5 minus n, then and. We're going to copy the 5 minus n again, less than 1 minus 5n. So it's like that middle guy got written twice, right? Yeah, we just solve them separate. So solving them separately, we're going to take that negative n, move to the right, that -5 to the left, so -2n plus n less than or equal to 5 plus 5. Negative n less than or equal to 10 multiplied by a negative, so n greater than or equal to -10. Same idea here. We got negative n plus 5n less than 1, and then that's invisible plus sign, so -5, so 4n less than -4. Divide both sides by 4. N is less than -1, and the word and kind of copied all the way down here. So we have a -10. We had our -1. In between those might be a -5. Filled in here, open here, they come together. All done. We have finished the entire packet. Took 32-minute video. Hopefully you took some breaks in between there. Didn't try to do it all lightning speed at the same time. So again, that first test or quiz probably going to be on I guess over a week since the time I published this video. So it's going to be Monday the 30th or Tuesday the 31st is currently the plan. I might do a shortened test on the this Friday here, but I haven't actually decided. I don't know what I want to do. Oof. Who knows? Have a good one, guys. Enjoy, and I'll see you later. Peace.